Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're gonna talk about rising Taurus. So first I'm gonna give you some characteristics about the rising Taurus sign. And then I'm gonna talk about the Descendant, which is essentially your relationship needs rising Taurus. And then at the end, I'm gonna give you a celebrity chart, a chart of somebody really famous and really stubborn, who was able to accomplish quite amazing feats. And I think that this is directly correlated with the fact that they were a rising Taurus. So let's get into it, Taurus. So all the interactions that you had when you were a little kid, when you were having your formative years, all of those interactions are what formed your ascendant. And I like to call the ascendant your little spacesuit. And the reason for that is because your ascendant really, it's not your mask. It's not that flimsy. And it really is much deeper than that. Your ascendant is the vehicle that you have in this life that allows you to navigate and get things done. So because of that, I like to call it the spacesuit because it was made specifically to help you survive in the environment that you were growing up in. And I like to think of everybody who was in your environment as somebody who put a little patch or a little stitch on your spacesuit, because everyone who was around you during your formative years, they were the ones who gave you the messages like, hey, this is how you have to behave, this is how you have to act in order to make it here. So for whatever reason, Taurus, you got the message that you couldn't have those Aries qualities. You couldn't have Aries qualities in order to survive in your environment. You couldn't be so energetic. You couldn't be so willful. You had to, be more mellow. Those are the messages that you got. And because of that, you left all those characteristics in the 12th house. And this is interesting if you have planets in Aries, and I'll be making more videos about the 12th house in the future. Today, it's just about the rising sign. So essentially, the people around you gave you that message like, hey, Aries isn't gonna fly around here. In this environment, that's not gonna work. So that's why you had your rising Taurus spacesuit that allows you to survive. So what is it that you left behind in the 12th house? So you left behind speed for thoroughness. And this gives you staying power, Taurus. So Aries is a very quick sign. They're very passionate and they just immediately, they strike while the fire's hot. And for Taurus, for Aries, that is just really fast. And Taurus doesn't work that way. Taurus takes their time and they get called, the bull, and they can be kind of slow. But the reason for this is because they make an assessment of everything before they proceed. And the reason for this is because they want the things that they actually go for, they want them to survive and they want them to stick around. Durability is really important to Taurus. They're not just gonna go into something just because, hey, I felt like it, or the moment moved me. Unless you have a lot of Aries planets in your chart, it would probably be a wash. But Taurus people want things to last. They like valuable things. I don't know if I mentioned this, but they're ruled by Venus, which is the planet of beauty, balance, harmony, and love. They want the things that they go for to actually last them a long time. This is something that is very crucial to Taurus people. And if you notice, they really like to be surrounded by things that are durable. They don't want their things to be flimsy and to just be thrown away. So this applies to their relationships, to their career, to everything that they go into. They want to know that that thing is going to last a lifetime, okay? So again, they traded speed for thoroughness. They traded passion for stability. And again, it's not that they're dispassionate, it's that they're more concerned with the durability of things and how stable things are going to be into the future. So they're not gonna fall for somebody just because, oh, I feel so passionate about them, or like, oh my God, this person is so attractive, I wanna get into a relationship with them. But they can notice that that person is dating a few other people, or they notice that they keep breaking up with all their partners, or they're gonna notice things. Taurus makes a thorough assessment before they actually proceed with somebody. And that is because it's not that they're jealous or that they're stalkers, even though they could be, but it's really that they want to assess whether this relationship or this person that they're going to invest in. To Taurus, everything's an investment. Their time is an investment. So they want to make sure that the person that they're going to invest in actually is going to be stable for them and why do they want stability? Because they're ruled by Venus and balance, and they want everything around them to be peaceful and placid, and they don't like trouble. They don't want to know that their relationship is going to fall apart in a month. They're not about that. So they also traded discomfort for comfort. And the reason I say that is because Aries is very combative. Aries is a combative sign, and that's not a bad thing. We all need to have a warrior spirit sometimes, and warriors are needed in the world. You know, violence exists in the world, it's natural, so that is a positive archetype. Nonetheless, Taurus doesn't have that. Taurus left that behind in the 12th house, and it becomes more dormant and psychological. The warrior spirit is more dormant and psychological for a rising Taurus. I mean, I'm sure they could pull it out, especially if they have 12th house planets, but Taurus is just like, no man, peace and love. They like for everything to be calm. They like to get along with others. They do this usually by being quiet. They might have strong opinions, but you won't hear about them unless somebody is trying to encroach on them, encroach on their freedom. Then they'll stand up and fight. And when you fight with a bull, be ready, because once they do fight, they're like a train. They'll run you over. So whenever you're in your room and you're comfortable and nobody's watching you, you're not really wearing your ascendant. You're kind of just in your moon sign, in the stage of your moon sign, right? So it depends what your moon is. You're eating your chips, you're watching TV, and somebody walks in. And as soon as somebody walks in, and especially if it's somebody you don't know, you put on your little spacesuit. So what does Taurus put on when they put on their spacesuit? First of all, if somebody walks in and Taurus is just chilling, they'll probably stay chilling. They won't care. They're not very self-conscious people. They're confident. They have a quiet, cool confidence to them. But you know, they're not going to be slovenly or anything. But Taurus wants to make sure that the people around them are comfortable, because they like to be comfortable. And if anyone around them is uncomfortable, they're going to be like, how can I make you feel better? How can I make you feel more comfortable? Because, you know, it affects them. They want their environment to be peaceful. The environment should be peaceful. So your spacesuit has a little lens, and that lens has a filter. And through that filter, you see the world out from the first house. So you're in the first house, your ascendant is Taurus. So from that first house, you look out at the world, and the world looks back at you from the 7th house. So how do you see the world? How do you see the world when you have a Taurus lens and a Taurus filter? So for you, you see the world as like, you know, everything is fine. Everyone just needs to be nice and get along. And everyone just needs to calm down and make themselves a sandwich. That's how Taurus sees the world. So to you, the world should be beautiful and kind, and there should be love between people, and there should be respect. Respect is very important for a Taurus, because they have very strong values and convictions, and they want, you know, they can have a tendency to be strong in their values and think that everybody should follow their own values. But even if that's not the case, they think that everybody should be respectful. Respect is important. Think about a bull. They demand respect. If the world is too noisy or busy, you retreat to your home and to your place of comfort, because being comfortable is the #1 most important thing. Taurus people in their naps, they'll retreat to their cozy bed, and they will take a nap and get away from the world. These are the kind of people that can fall asleep whenever they're angry. This could be more of a Taurus Mars, you know, because it has more to do with anger, but naps are restorative for a rising Taurus person. So how does the world look back at you from that 7th house? How do other people see you, rising Taurus? So just like you have that filter, right? And you look out at the world, and through that filter, everybody looks back at you. So how do you look from that filtered lens? So the way that you look from that filtered lens, that is what's called your social personality. So these are the characteristics that people associate with you. So how do they see you? They see you as stable. They see you as calm. So you're the kind of person that instantly, when you're in a room, you make everybody calm down. You're like a crystal. You're like a very radiant and positive and calming crystal. I don't know which one would be a calming one. Somebody tell me in the comments, what's a calming crystal? That is a crystal that rising Taurus would be. Just your presence brings the room down to like a manageable energy level. And whenever people are getting into danger, or they're in a dangerous situation and a rising Taurus is around, just their presence is going to make others feel more calm. People also see you as easygoing. You don't really get your feathers ruffled, and you don't ruffle the feathers of other people. You just You don't get into arguments, you don't bring up topics that are going to make people upset. You might have strong opinions, but you generally keep those to yourself because you're just like, what's the point? What's the point? And some people might see that as like laziness, but really if you think about Venus and how Venus wants everyone to get along, they like balance and they like stability and beauty. And there's no beauty in people's arguments. So Taurus is not concerned with that. You have a calming effect on other people. So that is how they see you. They see you as a warm blanket, okay? And you could also be seen as a strong silent type. This is a very rising Taurus description, strong silent type. Because you could have a lot of feelings and things brooding beneath because, you do have, that 7th house in Scorpio, but people don't get to see that, okay? So that's important. So lastly, make sure that you keep in mind that if this doesn't sound entirely like you, any planets that are housed within your 1st house are going to modify the expression of your ascendant. And not only that, but if you have other planets making a harsh aspect to your ascendant, these are also going to modify the expression of your ascendant. So keep that in mind. So now let's talk about the Descendant. So the Descendant ends up being your relationship house. It's your 7th house. And really the Descendant gets all of those characteristics that you say, these things are not like me. So Taurus and stability, this is me. I'm calm, I'm stable, I'm pleasant. And everybody who's emotional, everybody who gets into drama, everybody who is hypersensitive, I'm not like that. That's not me. That goes into the 7th house. All those characteristics that you kind of project onto other people that you see in others and they really irk you and you don't know why they irk you, and sometimes it's because you have those things hidden within you and you don't like to accept them. And the thing that you have within you that you don't like to accept, Taurus, is emotions, deep dark emotions, and they're held in your 7th house. And the only time that you get to express and experience these things is through relationships. So it's through relationships that you get to see that. So you could be attracted to scorpionic people. I have a rising Taurus friend who, she is a freaking serial Scorpio stalker. She was obsessed with Scorpio men. And really, it's because you crave that, you need it. And even though Taurus is probably like, I don't need anything, that is the place in life that you get to explore these emotions. So what is it that you get to explore? What are the things that you need in relationships, Taurus? So you need commitment. Commitment is very important for both Scorpio and for Taurus. But for Taurus, it's important because they need their surroundings to be stable. They don't like for things to change very often. And they like their routines to stay the same. So because of this, they need somebody who's going to be committed to them. They also, in relationships, need emotional intensity. And why is that? The reason for that is because, think about it, they spend so much time of their day being like straight faced and being like the calming rock that keeps everybody stable. But everybody has feelings. Everybody has turmoil somewhere in their life. And for Taurus, it's in relationships that they're able to bring that out, and they could finally be emotional for once because they spend all their day being like cool and just like, oh, everything's fine, man. Like, yeah, no, peace and love. But in their relationships, they're just like, oh my God, like I get to express how I really feel and the things that hurt me, because Taurus likes to act like they're unbothered, and so does Scorpio. But Scorpio really is injured by emotional attacks. So in relationships, you get to explore that. You also get to explore passion, and not that Taurus is dispassionate, but they're not as expressive about that emotion, and Scorpio definitely is, especially in relationships. So you like passionate relationships, Taurus. You also really need sexual commitment. It's very important to a rising Taurus. And again, it's because of that stability. They need to know that the person that is with them is just with them. And I can't not say this, but Taurus, if you're not an evolved Taurus, you can have that tendency to think that people belong to you because, Taurus is they care a lot about value and the things that they have and material security. And because of this money and being concerned with having things, they can have a tendency to think that they have people and this person is mine and nobody can touch this person. They could be a little bit possessive. And what else is important to you? Someone who actually takes the time to get to know you. So whereas Taurus can display just being very calm on the exterior, they could have darkness within them, because we don't see the rest of the chart. Everybody has darkness within them and pain, and Taurus doesn't like to talk about that, but it is healthy to talk about these things with somebody. And because of that, it is important in relationships, Taurus, for you to be with somebody who actually takes the time to get to know you. And not that Scorpio is psychic, but they're a little bit psychic. Taurus doesn't like to be very forthcoming about feelings. So you need somebody who's going to be intuitive, who can just kind of tell what you're trying to say to them, that you don't have to spell it out in so many words to them, and they'll just be able to know and really know you. And Scorpio is really good at knowing people, and the way that they do this is very intuitive. They just know, and that is a really important quality to have when you're dealing with a rising Taurus, because they're not going to be very forthcoming with their feelings. So if you have that intuition about people's hurts and pains, that would be a beneficial thing. And lastly, somebody who pushes you to really explore the darker feelings that you have, maybe repressed fears or experiences that might have hurt you in the past, Taurus. The relationship is really somewhere where you get to explore that, and you get to do that in a comfortable, safe environment, because it's somebody who you've already vetted, Okay, so now let's look at the celebrity chart that I have for you. And I have Amelia Earhart. And I thought that she was just absolutely perfect for this, because I was watching a trailer for a movie that was about her life, and something that she said was very Gemini, and I was just like, oh, that's super Gemini. She was saying that, like, oh, I just want to go out into the world and go to strange places. And even though traveling is seen as a Sagittarius thing, when she said the word strange, I was just like, strange and interesting. I was like, that's very Gemini. Gemini likes to have fun. So it sounded like a Gemini thing, but I was like, no Gemini is going to have the stability required to do the things that she did. So I knew that there had to be some important Taurus element to it. So I'm going to pop up the chart so you can see what I'm talking about. So Amelia Earhart was the first woman to fly across the Atlantic by herself, and that was a huge deal. So she is a huge pioneer for women and for women aviators, which was a big deal, because remember that before, like, women weren't allowed to do anything, and much less, fly a plane. So planes are expensive, like, not that they were concerned with women, they just were just like, oh no, women are dumb, they can't do that. So Amelia Earhart, think about the level of perseverance that is necessary to accomplish something like this, something that's never been done before. Whenever you're doing something that has never been done, you really have to have so much patience. Think about inventors and just innovators who did something that other people had never done before. So they couldn't, like, go off the manual and just be like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. No, they just had to, like, mess up over and over and over again, and kind of not get discouraged and keep going. And the only sign that could do this is Taurus. Maybe the other fixed signs might be able to do this, but it would probably hurt Leo's ego, and Aquarius would probably get bored. But Taurus really has staying power. And this is the beauty of the rising signs. And really, I mean, any stellium, but really studying them is beneficial, because it shows you what is your gift, and your gift, rising Taurus, is your stability and your ability to continuously show up no matter what. So you could do very difficult things if you set your mind to, depending on how your chart is configured and what other energies you have there. That will show you what it is that you want to accomplish. But think about that, and that is a really positive thing for you, rising Taurus. I really love the sign of Taurus, and admire their ability to just continuously show up and just keep chugging along, because at the end of the day, when it comes to accomplishing amazing feats, really, like, 90% of it has to do with actually just showing up and doing the work no matter what. And that is a very Taurus thing. Think about the calm it took for her to fly by herself. Imagine doing something that has never been done, and then imagine doing that thing that has never been done up in the air with no, like, there's no safety net. She just had to do it, and she had to remain calm the entire time. Because when you are in one of those, like, dangerous situations, the first thing that you don't want to do is panic. So really, I really feel that having that rising Taurus was what allowed her to remain stable and remain consistent with that goal that she had. So she ended up disappearing, and we don't really know what ever happened to her, but nonetheless, she's a very inspiring person. She wrote a bunch of books, and she's a really important pioneer for women. And a really good example of rising Taurus and the things that you can accomplish rising Taurus. So that's the video for today, guys. I hope that you liked it. If you did, make sure you give me a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to my channel. I put out astrology videos every single week, and I will see you in the next one.